The moment she leaned closer and whispered, "My age isn't a problem, right?" Everything inside Nathan Carter froze. The music was loud, crystal chandeliers sparkled above hundreds of wealthy guests, and the luxurious ballroom overlooking the Chicago skyline seemed untouched by the worries of ordinary people. Yet in that single moment, surrounded by laughter and expensive suits, Nathan felt as though the entire room had disappeared. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and judging people by their hearts instead of their past, take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs inspiration, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories. Nathan had never planned to attend the charity gala alone. A successful real estate developer from Illinois, he was known for his business achievements, but privately he carried a loneliness few people understood. 2 years earlier, a painful breakup had left him emotionally distant from everyone around him. Since then, his life had become an endless cycle of meetings, contracts, and empty evenings in a penthouse that felt larger every day. When his business partner suggested hiring an escort for the event to avoid awkward questions from investors and clients, Nathan reluctantly agreed. It wasn't something he normally would have considered, but the pressure of appearances in his world was exhausting. The agency promised professionalism and discretion. That was how he met Hannah Brooks. When she arrived at the hotel lobby before the event, Nathan was surprised. She looked elegant in a simple navy blue dress that somehow stood out more than the designer gowns surrounding her. There was nothing flashy about her appearance. What caught his attention was her quiet confidence and the kindness in her eyes. Throughout the evening, Hannah handled every conversation gracefully. She knew how to speak with executives, donors, and politicians. She listened more than she talked. Unlike many people Nathan met in his social circle, she seemed genuinely interested in others. As the night progressed, Nathan found himself relaxing for the first time in years. They laughed together. They shared stories. He learned that she loved books, volunteered at animal shelters, and spent her free time helping elderly neighbors in her apartment building. Something felt unusual. Nothing about her matched the assumptions he had made. The gala eventually moved onto an outdoor terrace overlooking Lake Michigan. The city lights reflected across the dark water like scattered diamonds. That was when Hannah's smile faded slightly. She seemed nervous. Then she quietly asked the question that changed everything. "My age isn't a problem, right?" Nathan blinked in confusion. Until that moment, age had never crossed his mind. Hannah took a deep breath and revealed something she clearly carried as a burden. She was 48 years old. Nathan stared at her. Not because he was shocked by the number itself. He was shocked because she looked years younger and because he suddenly understood the fear hidden behind her eyes. For a few seconds, she seemed prepared for rejection. Prepared for judgment. Prepared for the same reaction she had received countless times before. In her profession, clients often requested women much younger. Society constantly reminded women that aging somehow reduced their value. Hannah had spent years hearing cruel comments from strangers, employers, and even former friends. Nathan was 42. The age difference was hardly significant. Yet the sadness in her expression revealed years of emotional wounds. For the rest of the evening, Nathan couldn't stop thinking about it. He realized that beneath her composure was someone fighting battles nobody else could see. When the event ended, he surprised himself by asking if she wanted to have coffee before heading home. She hesitated. Then agreed. They spent 3 hours talking in a quiet 24-hour diner outside downtown Chicago. There were no wealthy guests. No fancy clothes. No expectations. Just two people sharing pieces of their lives. Nathan learned that Hannah had once been married to a man named Richard. They had built a modest life together until a car accident took his life 12 years earlier. After his death, medical bills and financial hardship forced her to work multiple jobs. She became a caregiver. A waitress. A receptionist. Anything she could find. Yet despite working tirelessly, she struggled to stay afloat. Eventually, she found work through an event companionship agency. It paid enough to survive and allowed flexible hours. But the emotional cost was enormous. People often assumed the worst about her. They rarely saw her humanity. They only saw labels. Nathan listened quietly. For the first time in years, he felt a connection stronger than anything he had experienced in the corporate world. Over the following months, they continued meeting. Sometimes for lunch. Sometimes for walks along the Chicago River. Sometimes simply to sit together and talk. Their friendship deepened naturally. Nathan discovered Hannah possessed extraordinary strength. She volunteered every weekend at a shelter for women escaping domestic violence. She secretly paid utility bills for struggling neighbors. She remembered birthdays, anniversaries, and important dates for people others forgot. She carried pain but still found ways to bring comfort to everyone around her. Yet despite her generosity, Hannah remained insecure. Years of rejection had convinced her she wasn't enough. Not young enough. Not successful enough. Not worthy enough. Nathan saw the damage those beliefs had caused. And he hated it. One winter evening, they visited a community center where Hannah volunteered. Snow fell gently outside as children played in a holiday fundraiser. Nathan watched her helping a little girl decorate cookies. The child accidentally dropped an entire tray onto the floor. Several adults groaned in frustration. The little girl looked devastated. But Hannah immediately knelt beside her, smiled warmly, and turned the accident into a game. Within minutes, the child was laughing again. Nathan couldn't stop watching. In that simple moment, he realized something important. The most beautiful people weren't always the ones society celebrated. They were the ones who made others feel valued. The ones who brought light into dark places. The ones who chose kindness when life had given them reasons to become bitter. That night, Nathan drove home unable to think about anything else. For years he had searched for happiness in success. In money. In status. Yet the person who inspired him most was a woman society often overlooked. Months later, Nathan made a decision. He wanted more than friendship. He wanted a future with Hannah. But fear held him back. Not fear of her. Fear of what others might say. His business associates were judgmental. Many valued appearances above character. Dating an older woman who worked as an escort companion would become gossip immediately. Nathan spent weeks wrestling with those concerns. Then one afternoon, something happened that changed his perspective forever. A major investor publicly embarrassed Hannah during a charity event. The man recognized her from the agency and made a cruel remark loud enough for nearby guests to hear. The room fell silent. Nathan watched Hannah's face pale. Years of humiliation seemed to return instantly. Without hesitation, Nathan stepped forward. He calmly informed the investor that Hannah was the most compassionate, intelligent, and honorable person he had ever known. Then he announced something nobody expected. He told everyone she was the woman he loved. The ballroom became silent. People stared. Some looked shocked. Others looked confused. But Nathan felt strangely free. For the first time in years, he wasn't protecting his reputation. He was protecting someone who mattered. Tears filled Hannah's eyes. Not because she needed rescuing, but because someone had finally chosen her openly. Without shame. Without conditions. Without fear. The months that followed weren't perfect. There were whispers. Judgments. Criticism. Some business relationships became strained. A few friends disappeared entirely. But something remarkable happened. The people who truly mattered stayed. And new friendships formed with people who valued authenticity over appearances. Nathan and Hannah eventually married in a small ceremony on the shores of Lake Michigan. No celebrity guests. No extravagant decorations. Just close friends, family members, and people whose lives Hannah had quietly touched over the years. To Nathan's surprise, hundreds attended. Former neighbors. Shelter volunteers. Single mothers she had helped. elderly residents she had cared for. People traveled from different states simply to celebrate her happiness. Only then did Nathan fully understand the impact she had made on the world. The woman who feared she wasn't enough had changed countless lives. Before we reach the end of this story, please leave a comment saying, "Kindness never grows old." Years later, Nathan often reflected on that first night at the gala. If he had listened to assumptions, he would have missed the greatest blessing of his life. The woman introduced as an escort became his best friend, his partner, and the person who taught him what real love looked like. She showed him that worth isn't measured by age, or status, or the opinions of strangers. It is measured by the kindness we give, the lives we touch, and the love we leave behind. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like the video, leave a comment, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that remind the world that compassion, dignity, and love never lose their value. As the sun set over Lake Michigan on their 10th anniversary, Nathan watched Hannah laughing with children at another charity event. The same warmth remained in her eyes. The same kindness remained in her heart. And he smiled, remembering the question she had whispered years earlier. "My age isn't a problem, right?" The truth was simple. It never had been. The only problem had been a world that sometimes forgot how to see the beauty of a human soul. Fortunately, Nathan learned to see it. And because he did, both of their lives changed forever.